Hi friend, my name is Marcus Lapp. I am a former stutterer, a speech coach, and of course, I'm the founder of speakyourmindmethod.com. And what I want to share with you today is not exactly a new technique, but it is kind of a new technique because it has a new name. I'm giving it more of an identity. And this slowly is becoming one of my featured tools. And I want to share that tool with you today. And it's what I call the soft landing tool. So let's jump right in. No need for a long intro. What exactly is the soft landing tool? Well, this is basically a technique of really finishing the words, or you could say following through on the words that you're saying. And when you think about it, when you do that, it is the complete opposite of what those of us who stutter do. And this was me. If you know my story, I stuttered a lot, especially during my teenage years. And my particular style of speaking that only made the stuttering worse was choppiness. So if I'm trying to use the soft landing technique, then I am simply focusing on landing each one of the words in this soft way. I'm not cutting off the words, in this choppy way, like, this, and we're not doing that. Instead, we are allowing the words to finish. And of course, I'm exaggerating for effect here so that you can really see what the tool is. But that is the tool right there. That's it. And if you want an image to go with this, to follow with the soft landing as the name, imagine an airplane that lands. When an airplane lands on the ground, it doesn't just stop immediately. No, it slowly comes to a stop. And that's the effect that we are after with this soft landing tool. So as an example, let's say I go to the grocery store and I go up to the counter to pay for the groceries that I got. If they ask me if I'm paying with card or cash, if I were to use the soft landing technique, it could be something like, yeah, I'm paying with card. Instead of forcing yourself to be like, yeah, I'm paying with card, right? So instead of that, it's like, I'm paying with card. So that's the soft landing technique. Now, in instances like that, there are times when, if you really need to, you can use that technique, even slightly exaggerated, on every word, like paying with a credit. Or you can also use this as a technique of just the first word or the first couple words to get you started. And then maybe once you get started, you're completely fine, so you don't have to worry about it. So it can have that kind of, it can play that role as well. And an example of that might be where I start out that way and then I'm free and then I can talk at whatever speed I want to. So there are lots of different applications in the sense of you can use it in an obvious way, like I'm doing now, or you can use it on the first couple words like I did there, and then you can speed up and go at a nice normal pace. Okay, so there's a lot of flexibility here with this tool. Now, I want to say a couple words about actually practicing with this tool so that you can use it, so that it can actually be a useful technique for you to use. And the first thing I'll say, as with all of the tools that I teach, is you gotta set aside some time and actually start practicing them alone. As with all the tools, start practicing them by yourself to build some comfort, some familiarity with the tools. And that's, of course, what my free workshop is for. The link is in the description. It's my Stop Stuttering workshop. That's what that's for. It gives you that routine. It gives you that system that you can follow. And a big part of that system is just having a slot of time where you practice these tools. But it doesn't end there. You also want to practice the tools when you don't need them. So it's not only to avoid stutters, it's also you want to build a high level of comfort and familiarity with this tool when you're out and about. And so even if you have a certain instance, like let's say you have no anxiety and you would say it completely fine if the cashier were to ask you, are you paying in credit or cash? You could just say, oh yeah, I'm paying credit. And maybe that's a time where you're completely fine. Or you could use that as an opportunity to practice this new tool. And you could say, yes, I am paying credit, where you do the soft landing on the words like that. Okay? So now go experiment. This is not like some rigid thing where you have to do exactly this. Like, yes, get a plan, get a daily routine, go watch my free workshop, link in the description. But at the end of the day, we're experimenting here because as with any of the tools that I teach, some of them are going to be more effective for you and some less. And there are going to be some that are less effective for you that are really effective for someone over here. So that's why we need to experiment, because there's no way for me to know or for you to know which 2 or 3 tools of all the tools you could use are going to be your most effective ones. And at the end of the day, that is what's going to happen. This is the pattern. This always happens. Doesn't matter how many tools you practice. They're always going to be about 2 or 3 that rise to the top and that are your best tools, your most effective, the ones you can always rely on. Okay? So go experiment with this. Use the soft landing tool and get into the habit of speaking with a little more of this flow instead of the choppiness of where you just cut off the words right when you're done saying it like that, right? So learn to speak more like this. All right? That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, go watch the free workshop if you haven't already, or if you need a refresher. Link is in the description, and it's also at speakyourmindmethod.com. I'll see you in the next video.